Ways to display data. Displaying data graphically. So now that we know whether the data is quantitative or qualitative, it kind of keys in on which display we can choose to display that data. Now, some of these we've done, some of these we haven't done, some of these we've done in the past. Our first one would be a pictograph. Now, a pictograph, we don't really use this in secondary one, but it shows data using pictures. A bar graph, we're going to star that one, shows data in specific categories. Categories means this is going to be your qualitative data. If data is qualitative in categories, we use a bar graph. A circle graph, another good one. This is typically qualitative data. It shows parts of a whole. So if you have a whole group of students, how many students chose this? How many students chose this? Etc. Line graph shows changes over time. Put time in a box. Histogram, also a very good one. We've been using that this chapter. Shows frequencies, okay? And then intervals over the same size. So 0 to 1, 2 to 3, 4 to 5, etc. And that also goes along with your frequency table. Stem and leaf plot, this is another one we really don't use in secondary one, but it orders numerical data and shows how they are distributed. So depending on how big the leaf is. Box and whisker plot, this is what we use. Shows variability using quartiles. So how spread apart the data is. This is your quantitative data, meaning your numbers. This is also quantitative. Dot plot, we don't really use this one in Sec 1. It is a really great one to use though, showing the number of times each value occurs. And then scatter plot, we haven't done yet, but we're going to be using a lot moving forward in the next set of the chapter. Choosing and creating appropriate data displays. Example 3, analyze the data and then create a display that best represents the data. Explain your reasoning. We're talking about miles walked. We have the week. In week 1, we walked 5 miles. In week 2, we walked 8. In week 3, we walked 10, etc. The first thing I'm looking at here is week. Do you notice this is over time? Because this is showing change over time, a really great option here is going to be the line graph. And the explain your reasoning is because this is happening over time. So to create our line graph, we're going to have our x-axis and our y-axis. This is going to be our x. This is going to be our y. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you label it as weeks. Then on our y-axis, we have to get to at least 11. So I'm going to count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And make sure you label miles walked. Then we're going to put some dots. In week 1, we went 5. In week 2, we went 8. In week 3, we went 10. And in week 4, we went 11. And really, these should be more equally spaced, connected by a line. And that's our line graph.